so today I'm going to show you how to make a Honda powered can crusher. This is a power window regulator from a 1998 Integra Type R, which used to be mine. I had a couple of parts that I just never got rid of and were just in boxes, so I had this power window motor laying around from my old Type R, so I was like, well, I'd do something with it. This is a piston and rod from a blown up D15 motor that I had and just kept the pistons for whatever reason. The part that connects this to the power window motor is actually from a shock absorber dust cover, and this is a Honda air conditioner idler pulley. So that's the gist of the parts, and then I made this frame out of steel and just some cheap angle iron, and then on the back there's, well, I've got it hooked to a battery charger now just to give it some juice, but on the back I've just got 2 relays and 2 switches to run it up and down. And you can see I just did it that way because I didn't feel like making limiter switches and having one button operation, because I figured it'd be cool just to be able to go up and down. So push that and it goes down, as it goes up. So I'm going to give you a quick demonstration, then I'm going to show you guys how to build it. Put your can in there like that. Here we go. Works like a champ. Look at that. That can is crushed right there. Okay guys, so as you know, I use the power window motor out of an Integra Type R. It has to be the gear driven kind, obviously. Cable driven kind won't do this job. I just cut the arm where it attaches to the glass a little bit short. There was already a hole there. It just happened to be in the right place to give the right amount of stroke. Without taking away too much power, obviously if you give it more stroke, it gives it less leverage and it doesn't have as much power. And with that said, I actually am running this off of an 18 volt power supply. I wouldn't recommend using a 12 volt power supply. It just doesn't give it quite enough juice to do the job, and plus it's really slow. So I would recommend a 24 volt power supply versus 12. And I can give you guys a link in the description to one that I found, I think it was on Amazon, for like 20 bucks, and it will crush the crap out of some cans. So I really did just use random parts laying around the shop. That is a shock absorber dust cover that fits inside the rod, and I basically cut the plug off of the power window motor to get access to the wiring, and then there's just an array of washers and little pieces that I found to kind of hold it all together, and then of course I used a Honda bolt to bolt everything to the window regulator. And this is just the framework I made. I just used a piece of angle iron and then like a 1/4 inch steel base. Cut everything with a chop saw. I didn't get real scientific about it. I just sort of mocked everything up and figured out how high it needed to be. And then I just started measuring basically from there to get the height of all the pieces. And then I just started mocking it up on my bench and just started welding it. I mean, you know, sometimes I just like to build stuff and, you know, just have a little bit of fun and not really think too much about making it precise, because it's, for me, it's more fun to just start building stuff. So here you can see the actual rod and piston. The pulley is just there for kind of for show. I really didn't need to have that, but I needed something big enough to kind of retain everything together, and I didn't have a washer that big, so it's basically functioning as a really big washer. Then you can see here I just started to get it kind of dialed in, and I did a few tests where I was trying to get it, you know, get the actuation right and get the stroke where it would line up straight. And I had a couple of failures early on just trying to figure it out and get the action right. As you can see, it didn't always work. So I figured out how I needed to box it in, and then once I got that figured out, I finished it by, you know, I just did a little bit more welding, and then I realized that there was a lot of places it was hitting and I had to do a lot of cutting to give the arm room to push all the way down. And basically another thing that I had to do was I had to put a little bit of weld in the last couple of teeth on the regulator, just to keep it where it wouldn't just fly off the end. And that's pretty much it. And as you can see here, I just took a couple of little power switches that I had laying around in my toolbox and wired it up to some relays, and it works perfectly. It's got a lot of power, and in fact I think this part of the video I'm going to show you exactly how much power it has. Alright guys, so I want to figure out exactly how much power this thing actually has. So I don't have a way to measure this force, but I can do one comparison. What I'm going to do is I'm going to step on one of these cans with my foot and put my entire body weight on it. I'm not going to stomp, I'm just going to step on it and let my body weight crush the can down, see how far it goes. And then I'm going to crush a can with this and to see if there's any difference. Now I weigh about 160 pounds, so when I crush this can, it's going to be the equivalent force of 160 pounds of force on this surface area here. But I'm going to do that now. Alright, I didn't quite get even on it, so I'm going to put my full body weight now. There we go, I bounced a little, but that's okay. Let's get a good idea of how squished this can is. Oh yeah, that's pretty flat. It's not square flat, but I'd say we're about a little over an inch tall. So let's take one into the machine and see what it does. Oops, I gotta go back up. Alright, let's put this one in here. Let's turn it so we can't see what kind of can it is. Alright, you guys know that's the bottom of the stroke. It won't go down any further just because of this gear won't let it. So what I did is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this piece of steel in there to bring it up a little bit so we can squish it a little bit further. Here we go. Oh yes, that sounded really good. Okay, now this is the one that the can crusher crushed. Here's the one I just did. Here we go. This is the one I just crushed. So let's see which one's flatter. Ooh, you know what? It looks like the can crusher wins this one. That's with me, my full body weight is on this one, and this one was with the can crusher. So based on this completely unscientific evidence right here, I'm going to say that the can crusher is actually more than 160 pounds of force. That is amazing. That thing's got some power, I'm telling you. Alright, I just did the Bud Light can as well, and you can see it's even squished flatter. Got an idea. I'm going to take all these cans and stack them in here and just see if it'll go down any more with all of them stacked. Here we go. Oof. A little bit. It squished it a little bit more. There you go. So they're all about an inch tall now, or maybe less. Ooh, that Bud Light can though. Whew, that thing's flat. There you go. That's the Honda powered can crusher. And who said Hondas didn't have any torque? Very impressive power output from this unit. And there you go. You guys can actually build this at home. All you need is some steel and some parts. I mean, all this stuff is just stuff I had laying around. So, you know, it stands to reason that a lot of Honda guys would have this kind of junk laying around. And then just some cheap angle iron. And then I just took a little piece of steel plate that I had laying around and I used that for a base. So, and then I just bubblegum welded it on there. Obviously, I'm not that great at welding, but it's all good. So there you go. A little bit of wiring too. I did, these are actually just some Momentary switches that I had laying around. Threw those in there, a couple of relays. But the power supply, I would say 24 volts for sure. And I'll leave a link to that in the description. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. .125, which is 1 1/8, and so you take that. No, this square.